Welcome in, everyone, to the Betting Pros live stream here for the Sweet 16. It is back. We are ready to look at college basketball again. 8 fantastic games over the next 2 days. We have what every person who watched the NCAA tournament wants. What do they want? They want some upsets, and we have those with St. Peter's and Miami and Iowa State, but they also want the Blue Bloods, and that's what we have today as well. Blue Bloods battling to get to the Final Four. We have 16 left. We're going to get down to 8. That's what we're looking to do over the next 2 days. Join me today and tomorrow at 11 a.m. where we're going to go through everything that you need. Follow me on Twitter at Randle Rant. The Betting Pros live stream is here. Let's get into it, folks. And don't forget to download the Betting Pros app to track your picks as well. My picks will be in there. You can follow me. Visit our website at bettingpros.com. Follow all the picks in the analysis. We break down each of the games, have great articles for you each and every day so you can get your bets in here on the NCAA tournament. Let's start with the games, and we'll go in chronological order tonight. The first one, number 1 Gonzaga, -10 versus number 4 Arkansas. Now, look, Arkansas is 20-15 against the spread. Gonzaga is 15-14-2 against the spread. But interesting note, both teams have failed to cover the spread in their first 2 games. Overall this year in the non-conference, I broke that down as well. Arkansas 7-8 versus the non-conference against the spread. Gonzaga 6-9 versus the non-conference against the spread. This game, to me, comes down to your belief in Gonzaga. Gonzaga's had a fantastic season, and they've made 2 runs to the finals. But in those runs, they have not usually faced super athletic teams. They struggled against West Virginia in one of those runs. Last year, I thought they had a pretty easy path, and they went against a really strong Baylor team, a great team, and they struggled. When they go against more athletic teams, they usually can't pull away. We saw that against Memphis. Folks, Memphis is not nearly as good as Arkansas. They're not even in the same stratosphere. Musselman's done an incredible job. You have a more disciplined team here that follows the game plan and doesn't turn the ball over as much. And that's what I'm focusing on tonight with Arkansas. Arkansas should have good guards that are going to be able to take the ball, take their time, get good shots. The key for Arkansas is going to be Jalen Williams inside. Can Jalen Williams stay away from foul trouble, which he has? He's only fouled out twice this year against the LSU front court and Mississippi State. Drew Timme was dominant in the game against Memphis, but they were in foul trouble the entire time. I think Arkansas can avoid the foul trouble tonight, and I think this is a team that presents major problems for the Zags. J.D. Notae has been absolutely on fire, and he hasn't really been making a lot of threes. In his last 4 games, 1 of 7 from deep, 0 of 5, 1 of 7, 1 of 3. If J.D. Notae starts hitting some three-pointers tonight, Arkansas is going to win this game. That is their weakness. But I think Notae gets hot. I do not trust the backcourt here for Gonzaga. I think Nembhard has been up and down. I don't trust Strother, and I don't trust Rasir Bolton. I think they are ancillary players. I don't think they're nearly as strong as Joe Ajayi and as Corey Kispert last year. I think this is a weaker backcourt, and I don't think that Chet Holmgren will have the impact. We saw him struggling against the big athletic team that he went against in Memphis. I think he struggles here again. Gonzaga may be able to pull this game out, but I think the line is way too much. People are betting it up. It is now at 10. I will gladly, for my first pick, take Arkansas plus 10, minus 110 on FanDuel. I will grab those points. I've thought all along that if Arkansas beat Vermont in a game that was a contrast in styles, they would make the Final Four. I am not backing off here. Love this Razorback team. Williams inside, Notae, Davis makes big shots. They just need to be able to make some jumpers. That's what's happened with the SEC teams. They haven't been able to make some shots. If they do so tonight, Arkansas will not only cover, but they will advance. My second pick as well is going to be J.D. Notae. I'm going to take him over 18.5 points, minus 112 on BetMGM. I like the fact that the props are consistent with your sides. If you believe in a team, you should bet the props accordingly. We had a big day last night with NBA for the same reason. We bet the props according to the sides here at Betting Pros, and that's what we're going to do again. I like J.D. Notae to get to that 20-point number, over 18.5 points, BetMGM. You know Gonzaga is going to want to run up and down the floor. Notae is going to have the ball in his hands a lot, and I don't trust that Gonzaga backcourt. You like Gonzaga to win? No problem. I think Arkansas covers a 10 tonight, and the must-bust gets us another cover here in the first game. Make sure to put questions in the chat. If you have them, we'll be happy to answer them as we go through the games here. Next one up in order. Number 2, Villanova minus 4.5 versus number 11, Michigan, minus 110 on FanDuel. Michigan has not been great this year. They've been very up and down, and they have not been great overall. This is a team that has certainly struggled, even against the spread. They really have clicked and gotten together late in the year. After that Colorado State game, about halfway through, they really turned it on and put in a tremendous performance here against Tennessee. I just question whether they can do it again. I think this Villanova team is disciplined. I think this Villanova team is going to score on them. Look at Michigan, their last few games. Over, and one under. So they've been over, they've been giving up points. If you're going to beat Villanova, you are not going to do that by giving up points. You have to play defense, and I don't trust Michigan's defense at all. The backcourt of Gillespie, they've had great improvement with Samuels. They've had Justin Moore. They have confidence. They have players who make their free throws. Villanova is the number one team in the country in free throw shooting percentage. They have been dominant all year, 82.6%. When they get to close games, they put it away. Ohio State gave them every bit that they could, and they still couldn't cover the number, even though they were only down 2 in that game very late. Michigan, very up and down. They've played well lately. I give them credit. I think they are outclassed here by Villanova. I don't think Hunter Dickinson is going to have another 22-point game with 2 or 3 threes. That's not happening against this Nova team that plays solid defense across the board, that makes their free throws and doesn't turn the ball over. You're not going to have Michigan making a lot of threes, which is what they need to keep it competitive in this game. And I just trust Jay Wright. I think this is the better coach team. I think this is the more senior-laden team. I think is the more fundamentally sound team. And I think Michigan really got a benefit from the fact that Tennessee could not make shots when they needed to. That is not going to happen with Villanova. Colin Gillespie, Justin Moore, even Eric Dixon hit a big 3 in that last game. Caleb Daniels, veteran team, been here before. I'm going to gladly lay the points with the Villanova Wildcats, -4.5, -110 on FanDuel. Sinful Saint, thoughts on this parlay? Zags money line, Michigan +5, Arizona -1.5, +324. That's a tough one because I don't like Michigan, Sinful Saint. That's the problem. If you're going to bet Michigan, yeah, I understand that. I just don't like them in this matchup. I don't think they're going to keep it going. I think last year everybody still remembers the Wolverines and that they made their magic run. I think this is a different team. I think they were really bolstered by tremendous play by Dickinson, which you're not going to get against Villanova. That's the one that bothers me. As far as the Zags, sure, I'm comfortable with that. I do like Arkansas, but if you want to take a money line, that's fine. Arizona -1.5. We'll get to that in a little bit, but I'm leaning the other way. There's a spoiler alert. Third game for you, Texas Tech, number 3 Texas Tech -1, even though they're lower seed, versus number 2 Duke -109 on FanDuel. I took a look at this, folks. Duke as an underdog in March, regular season or postseason, 5, 9, and 2 against the spread, only covering 35% of the time. This Duke defense has been very poor. It's concerning to me that Duke gave up so many points against Michigan State, which is a team that struggled scoring 76 points. They did win 85-76, but it's because they had players that could break down Michigan State one-on-one late. That is not going to happen against Texas Tech. And even more damning, how about the fact they gave up 79 points to Syracuse in the ACC tournament without Buddy Boeheim, who was suspended? I am going with Texas Tech in this game. I'm going to lay the 1 point or money line, depending on where your odds are going to be. Texas Tech defense is for real. They are tremendous with the ball pressure. Duke does not turn you over. They don't force turnovers, which is a problem. So you're going to have to rely on Texas Tech to miss shots, and their offense can be spotty. But the issue is that Texas Tech is going to put pressure on you. They're going to make you miss shots. They're great on the interior. They've only allowed 44% to the opposing team on 2-point percentage and in Big 12 play, a much better conference this year than the ACC. They were number 1 in the Big 12, holding opponents to 43.4%. Duke is going to have to keep Texas Tech from scoring inside, and I don't think that's going to happen. Texas Tech does not make threes. 28%, last in the Big 12 this year in Big 12 conference play, doesn't bother me at all. I just don't trust Duke's defense. If they can get lit up by a Buddy Boeheim less Syracuse team, if they can get lit up by Tyson Walker and Michigan State, I think they can get lit up here. I'm going to lay the point or the money line, depending on where you want to go here, with Texas Tech against Duke. Duke has not been great in these spots. Duke did not rally for Coach K in the last regular season game against North Carolina. They didn't rally for Coach K in the ACC Tournament Championship against Virginia Tech, and I think they are facing the stiffest defense that they've seen all year. Coach K, I understand it's his last game, and it could be, and all the fouls, and the refs are always going to call fouls on Duke. I think Texas Tech is too smart for that. They've impressed me all year. Going to take them with the money line. I need a better effort defensively from Duke, and I just don't think I'm going to get it. And the last game here to go through for today, folks, is number 5 Houston, number 1 Arizona. Houston is getting 1.5 points versus Arizona minus 105 on DK. We talked about Houston against Illinois, and we nailed it perfectly last week. Kelvin Sampson versus non-conference teams while at Houston, 37-23, 62% per bet labs. Houston against the spread this year, 24-12, 67%. Houston against the spread this year, non-conference, 11-4. Houston against the spread in its last 10 games, 9-1. Arizona has not seen the sort of defensive pressure and aggression that they're going to see tonight from Houston. The last time they really faced a team like this that got this sort of defense there was Tennessee away, and they lost that game. They also faced a UCLA team that can get after you, not with the ball pressure as much, but certainly a good, solid defensive team, and they lost that one by 16 away. Arizona is flying high, but Houston is just built for tournament games. Their defense, their pressure, they're making shots. Arizona is also not great at defending beyond the arc. They do allow opponents to make those shots, and Arizona has greatly benefited from wins this year in the Pac-12 with teams not being able to make free throws, only shooting 69%. This is a Houston team that is solid on the interior. They force turnovers. The 2 plays I like in this game, number 1, Houston always gets its pace. So not only do I like Houston plus 1.5, minus 105 on DK, I love the under in this game. Arizona is going to want to push the pace. You saw what happened with Illinois and Houston in a similar situation. Houston gets its pace. Houston better be ready to hit those boards. Arizona is a great rebounding team. They're a great rebounding team because they have size. They're not a great rebounding team because they do the little things. And I think they're going to have trouble today keeping teams off the boards. They normally dominate on the offensive boards. They're not going to be able to do that against Houston, and they better be stronger on the defensive boards, only ranked per Ken Pom 194th overall this year. This is a huge battle. The money is going to come in on Arizona because they're the number 1 seed, only favored by a couple points. I am taking Houston in this spot. I wish it was a little bit higher, but I think the Cougars have the plan, have the experience with Kelvin Sampson. Great job here in his first year at Arizona with what he's done, Tommy Lloyd. But I think this is a veteran Houston team that has overcome losing 2 of their best players to injury and is now rolling. They're going to hit the boards, they're going to play defense, and they're going to be able to make some shots. And if they're hitting threes, Kyler Edwards and Shed, good night. They could pull away here. So our last 2 plays here, Houston plus 105, minus 105 in DK, and the under 145.5 in a game that I think is going to be slower than people think with Arizona. And you know these games, when they're close, are usually close because they are lower scoring with so much at stake. All right, folks, that's it for today. Sweet 16, 4 games today, 4 games tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow to give you those 4 as we get ready to finally get our final 4 teams here for what's been an amazing 2022 NCAA tournament. For Betting Pros, I'm Mike Randle. We'll see you tomorrow.